Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Kellen here again with Droid Life. We've got new phones from Google. Well, I mean, a new phone from Google. It is the Pixel 6a. It should be pre-order day, and that means launch is also around the corner. And we've got one in-house. Looking forward to diving into this. Obviously, this is a follow-up in the budget line that Google's been running for a couple years, 4A and 5A, although this has the new Pixel styling that we found in the Pixel 6. So an exciting device, priced pretty well, missing maybe one feature, but otherwise could be quite the option for those on a budget. So let's dive into this. Let's take an unboxing and tour of the Pixel 6a. So diving in here, well, Pixel 6a, this is the green color, or sage, as Google's officially calling it. The phone will also come in chalk, which is kind of like a whitish color, and then charcoal, which is kind of like a black color. The phone is priced at $449, so decent price. Well, I think what was the original 4a at, like $349, $399. We've had some $449. I think the 5a was $449. So we're kind of sitting around that mark. Specs, though, line up pretty well for a phone priced at this set of specs. So anyway, Pixel 6a on the box there. Not much else to show you. So pull tabs. I wish Samsung would figure these out. Samsung's still making you cut things. They're not doing the pull tabs. I think every Samsung fan gets mad when I bring that up. So anyway, here's what's in the box. Probably not a lot. It is quite a thin box, which means yes, there's no charger in here. So in here, though, we do have USB-C to USB-C cable, standard from Google, the white cable they've been including with Pixel phones for a long time, maybe since the original Pixel, actually. 6a powered by Google Tensor, so same chip that's in the 6 and the 6 Pro. So $449 for this, but again, it's the same processor that you find in the 6 and 6 Pro. And then here is your USB-C switch tool. So if you had an old cable, you need to plug it into your old phone and then into your new phone, this is the little thing you would use. And then we flip this little box over. There's probably a guide in here. And then this is also your SIM removal tool. So if you need to pop the SIM in and out, this is how you would do it. Here's the phone with a little piece of a paper on here. So let's pull that off. Okay, that's off. And there's the device. So, ooh, it's pretty. That's a nice green. I wish this was frosted, but either way, it's a nice color. So let me wipe this stuff all out of here and let's start looking at this phone. So if we take a tour here, well, let's talk specs. So we've got a 6.1 inch. Let's actually power on here. We've got a 6.1 inch display. So this is the smallest. I can never tell when Google phones power on. You have to like really hold their power for a long time, assuming there's any juice in here. There we go. Finally vibrated. So anyway, Google phones, you sometimes have to hold them for a long time. So we have a 6.1 inch display here. It's full HD, 60 hertz. So when I mentioned in that opening that there was like one spec that I wish would change, that's it. The refresh rate is 60 hertz, which is, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a little bit. Like every phone I've used for the last like 2 or 3 years has been 90 hertz or above. You know, almost all Samsung phones are 120. Even Google's Pixel 6 or Pixel 5 even was 90 hertz. Like we're using higher refresh rates. I know they were keeping the price down on here, but we couldn't have gone 90 or something. I guess then it would have made the Pixel 6 a tough sell. Either way, the rest of the specs sound pretty good. So 4,300 milliamp hour battery on the inside, has fast wired charging, which I believe is probably scratch that. 4,100 milliamp hour battery with fast charging, which tops out at 18 watts according to the official spec list. So not crazy fast, but sort of fast. You have 6 gig RAM, 128 gig storage. That's UFS 3.1 storage. So it's fast storage. So you should be good there. There shouldn't be any performance issues. And again, it's running Google's Tensor chip. And we know that runs quite well on the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. So on this thing with the fast storage, with the the FHD smaller display, it should be a speedy little guy. We do have a dual camera. So dual camera setup here. It's basically like the Pixel 5 camera, as far as I know. It is a 12 megapixel dual pixel wide angle camera and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide as well. And then you have the flash. Look, it's the same setup as the Pixel 6, at least in terms of design. And you have the camera bar, but it's, kind of an older camera. situation here. You do have optical and electronic image stabilization, so it should be good. It should be a solid camera. It's just Google, continuing to evolve on sensors they've used a million times. Up front, you do have an 8 megapixel camera up there, right up there, 8 megapixel selfie camera. You have a fingerprint unlock in the screen, and we will test that before we get done with this video to see if it's faster than the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. We think it might be. USB-C port on the bottom, speaker situation. Up top, not a lot, but a microphone. Here's your SIM tray over here on this, that would be the left side. On the right side, you have power button and volume rocker in familiar spots. You can see the frosted black around the edges of this version. Reminds me a lot of the regular Pixel 6, just going to be a little bit smaller. You have Wi-Fi 6 in here and Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.2. I mentioned the speakers. This phone actually does have stereo speakers. So for a budget phone, you don't often see that. So you do have good speaker setup. No headphone jack though, which we used to get with the A range, and I think this is the first one that does not have a headphone jack. So if you're hanging on to that, I'm sorry. You have Gorilla Glass 3 on the front. You get 5 years of Pixel updates, so that should be at least 3 of OS version updates, and then a full 5 of security updates. And I think that's mostly it for specs. Let's dive in and test that fingerprint reader, shall we? Well, we made it past the brief setup. I didn't actually set anything up. We skipped most of it outside of the fingerprint reader. So running Android 12 out of the box, and out of the box, this unit in particular. This is a review unit from Google, by the way. They sent me to test out. It's running Android 12, and it's got it needs a Google Play system update. It needs security patch. So there's some updates to be had. So don't take a ton from this, what you're seeing right here. It will get updates and new features, and it's like already several months needs worth of updates, if that makes sense. So, Android 12. It'll obviously get Android 13 soon. We think that will probably be released August, September-ish maybe, or maybe a little bit later. Anyway, in the next couple of months, it'll get 13. And when it gets 13, when 13 is available, this will get it right away, as will all of the other still supported Pixel phones. So let's, here's that fingerprint reader. Ready? It's okay. And again, I don't want to put a lot on that. I know there was this rumor that went around, or video that showed some guy testing an early build and said how fast it was compared to all the other phones. I mean, you still have to give it a good firm press. Whatever. It's an in-display fingerprinter. Almost all of them on every single phone I've ever used are not good. Is it better than the Pixel 6 is? I don't know. We'll get back to you and we'll tell you that in our full review. So what else do you need to know? Again, $449. Pre-orders the 21st, and then it arrives July 28th. Again, comes in Sage, which is this color, chalk or charcoal. It should work on all the major US carriers, and all of the major US carriers do plan on selling it. At least they did when it was first announced. So should have a good chance to get one if you want. There'll be deals and stuff depending on the carrier, I'd imagine. Really good size. It definitely feels like a normal Pixel 6 because there's no curved display. And it has the sort of flatter matte black sides and stuff like that. But it's a really good size. Again, I just 90 hertz would have made this an absolute killer of a phone. Still should be a nice phone, and we're working through the review right now, but pretty nice. One thing I have noticed right away is that they're not using the giant camera sensor that's in the 6 and 6 Pro, and because of that, this camera bar is a lot thinner. If you look at the side there, see how that just doesn't stick up as much. And speaking of which, here is the regular Pixel 6 in green. So here's the size difference. So this one's a little bit taller, and then again, if you just look at the camera humps, little guy, flagship level camera guy over here, but very similar size and shapes. This one's just gonna be a little bit shorter because it has a smaller display. And then if you want to see it, here is the Pixel 6 Pro, and obviously much larger, has curved display, has a third camera sensor, and is the ultimate flagship of the Pixel 6 line. And then of course you can see how much bigger that camera bar is there as well. So anyways, bring these all in for a little family photo shoot, shall we? So there you go. There is 6 Pro, 6A all lined up. This is the green version of the 6, sort of. This one's obviously a little bit more green. This is the cloudy white of the 6 Pro, but sort of get a good shot of the 3 there. Now, before we go, here is a official case. So there was a little bit of drama around these jelly style cases from Google for the 6 and 6 Pro. Remember there's like some discoloring and things like that. I have absolutely no idea if they fixed it for these, but they're going to sell this alongside the 6A if you want it. And my guess is it's probably very similar to those ones that people were complaining about. So anyway, slap that on there, and it's definitely going to offer some protection. Can't say I will use it. Not really my style of case. Big Google logo. Definitely gives you some protection on the camera bar. Buttons still very clicky. Love to see that. Yeah, definitely a good click there. So, you know, it's a first party case. They're often the best one. So anyway, there's the official Pixel 6a case. If you wanted to see what that looks like, I am going to take it off now because too thick. Do not like it. So anyway, it's just been a unboxing and tour of the Pixel 6a. We should have a full review up shortly for those looking for one. Slide all these out of the way. Get this shot back. So there you go. Google Pixel 6a. If you have comments, questions, let us know. We are Droid Life. Peace.